Before we start tonight's show, we've got a little bit of somber message to begin with. Jonathan from Sean View podcast, unfortunately, has lost his battle with mental health. We've collaborated with Jonathan and Sean View podcast a couple of times over the last couple of years, especially when the Reds have played Sheffield United. Jonathan's been on our podcast a couple of times. We've been on their podcast a couple of times to preview the Reds versus Sheffield United. It was always fantastic guest on the show. It was always a great space to be in when we run their show as well. We're just sending massive, massive love from Red all over to his family and friends at this time. If you are struggling with mental health, there is support out there for you. In the description to this show, there are links to charitable organisations. There are helplines who are out there to support you and provide you guidance through this time. There's always someone there to listen to. So please, please use that if this speaks to you. This is the Red All Over Show with me, Josh Everton, Andy Simcox, Alan Smith, and Craig Woods. We are here to react to last night's, as Andy's background shows, 7-0 third round Carabao Cup loss to Manchester United. A very, very dull day as a Reds fan. We're going to also discuss Dean Whitehead, who has left the club today to join Stoke City as part of their coaching staff, lasting only 56 days in his role as a coach at Oakwell. And then we're going to move on and discuss Burton Albion up at the weekend. So let's get stuck into it. So, Al, you were there as part of the 6,500 in the away end last night, whilst I sat in the home end for a marginally cheaper ticket. I'll be honest, cost of living crisis, you've got to take them advantages where you can, I suppose. Not the greatest performance we've ever seen from the boys in red, but somewhat expecting it, because when you look at sort of predictions we all made for this game, none of us expected us to win. We all expected a heavy defeat, but didn't expect 7.
Didn't expect 7, but a heavy loss. But when you look at it, we didn't expect Manchester United to play a strong team. That's the first thing we thought. And when you've got Anthony, Garnacho, and Casemiro, Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire, Christian Eriksen, and Rashford, you think they're taking this seriously, aren't they? Probably only competition they're going to win, so they're going for it at the end of the day. But to be honest, we started off well in the first 10, 12 minutes. They were on back foot. We were better side for me. But then it opened up, didn't it? With a ball straight across for Rashford, and what a touch that was. First touch in between two of our players and straight into back at net. I thought, well, 1-0's okay. And then we end up with a penalty, sloppy penalty. And then I thought, going at half time, 2-0 up. And what happens there again? O'Keefe gets ball and he don't clear it. He toe pokes it to their player and it comes straight back at us. And Rashford again, and they get a lucky rebound and toe poked into back of net by Garnacho. So one of them things wanted it. What behind me, 3-0 Phillips, it were there. I don't think a lot of our players turned up. Too many errors, get ball away cheaply, and they found too much space. And pace did us yet again. Pace. Yeah, there's a big quality and big golfing quality. And then it were, second half, run rings round us and got 7 goals, another 4 to make it 7-0. And that's twice I've been to Old Trafford in my lifetime, and both times 7-0. So I'm not going again.
It sounds to me, Al, that it's all your fault that
I
we
take
lost 7-0 then.
take full responsibility.
You've been twice, we've lost 7-0 twice. Andy, obviously there's two ways to look at it. Of 7-0 is an embarrassing scoreline, but as Al's read out there, the team selection from Man United, it wasn't their first team, because they brought the first team players on with 20 minutes left when they brought on Bruno Fernandes, they brought on De Ligt, they brought on Xerxes, they brought on the players that are actually part of that continuum. But when we're talking about Anthony, 80, 90 million pound winger who's playing against O'Keefe, it's the golfing quality is huge. And it's going to result in something like that, especially when you've got players like Rashford, Anthony, for example, as well, who are vying for their position in that first 11, in that United starting 11. That were almost again where they've got to go and grab it by a scruff neck and got to go and perform.
I don't care how much their place cost. It were an embarrassment. And, we should be ashamed of the way we played. If you think the first goal, Alan says, Rashford wore a touch and what have you. I don't know what Mark Roberts were doing. He may as well just done a Walter up, laid down his coat for him to step over because he just tapped it past him. Oh, it's gone past me, and he put it in. That was awful. That was happy defense. I like Mark Roberts, don't get me wrong, but on this game, that was happy defending. And then we get a penalty away. Goalkeeper comes out, and you know what Anthony's going to do? I'm going to leave a foot there, so he takes me out. We're just gifting them goals. For third goal, just before half time, that really, really killed. It clears about 15 yards to him, straight back in 3-0. Absolutely awful, awful. The fourth goal, flipping it, the fourth goal. Garnacho is on left wing without anybody within 30 yards of him. So he gets ball, runs half length at field, still nobody near him, and puts it in. So it's just shocking. That fifth goal, we've got ball, we play it out. Matt Craig, I don't know who he's passing it to. Matt Craig does a nice little 15-yard dink pass across, just a pass across floor. A little, straight to Garnacho, who says, "Here you are, Rashford, get another one." So, we get them. We've actually get them 5 goals. They didn't have to work for them. They didn't have to work for any of them. 5 goals given to them. So I thought Man United started poorly. I thought we started really well, and up to the first goal, which, like I say, were just an awful mistake. I thought we looked all right. Bazza down wing were creating a few issues for them. We did all right. We passed it about all right and looked all right. Then 2 horrendous mistakes. And what can you do? You can't give 5 goals away to any Manchester United side, or frankly, any side, and expect to do all well. So that was just shocking. I have to say something about. I mean, I'm not like Alan. I wasn't paying that amount of money for profiteering. Although, like I said last week, we profiteered from it as well. We got some money from it. So thank God for that. But well done to all 6.5 grand fans that went. That were well done. You got to applaud them because they were shouting. I could hear Telly shouting for them throughout. They're the ones you could hear. Even at the end, they were shouting for applauding the players. And there's times when they've really got at them. They didn't. So that's well done. I watched it on television, and I tell you what, your namesake, Alan, the commentators from the first minute from the kickoff to say they were patronising, as putting it mildly. We got no credit at all. Flipping Alan Smith, supposed to be, I don't know. He don't even play for Man United. He played for Arsenal. And he's talking in such a patronising, clever way. I don't know. When Anthony went down, he's applauding him. He left his foot in, and so and he took him down. Well done. That were really clever play. And then towards end, we got Humphreys gets kicked. He don't get a free kick, and he gets a yellow card for simulation. And he said, he shouldn't have simulated. They showed the replay. Well, he caught him, but for a big lad like him, he shouldn't have gone down like that. And I think, I can't believe that a commentator or somebody that's supposed to be an expert analyzer and summarizer can be so damn biased. And he was biased. And I was absolutely infuriated about their flipping condescension. It was, that's that. I didn't bother. That's switched them off. Don't bother now because I thought you're just not fit to be there. So anyway, Andy, I'm all right now.
Andy, while I was there, I was frustrated at first half. Gavin Ward, Man United, 10, 11 free kicks on our play. Same as at Stevenage, first half, and he never had a word with him. He never booked him. It were, it were awful.
Well, if you looked, Al, their left back's a young lad, I know. But every time Barry Cotter or somebody else got ball out wide, he took him out. He took Barry Cotter out 18 times at first half, Collier. Nothing at all. That 42 million pound midfield player, is it Ugart from
Agate.
Ugarte? Yeah, Ugat. I don't care. I call him what I want. Yogurt. He was taking everybody out that moved. Nothing. You can't book players that cost 42 million, but you can never go at a free transfer who's been taken out and say you really shouldn't have gone down for that. Shocking.
Well, one thing I did want to get onto was the referee, but you've gone and
I'm not going to mention it, referee, again. That
you've
were
gone and
Alan.
taken the steer there for me, Andy. Of course, obviously Agate 6 fouls, no booking, and somewhat struggled with pace at game with them bookings as well. I thought, which a little bit alarming from a United perspective of someone who's international level player struggling to keep up with a League One side, because that was one thing I took away from Agate's performance. And as you mentioned there, the Humphreys booking, and Anthony's getting a penalty for that. And I'm sure one of our we got 2 bookings for simulation, or at least 2 free kicks given against us for simulation, and both of which I thought it set the precedent with the Anthony penalty of, well, if you get contact and you go down, you get a free kick and or penalty. But yeah, suffering from that Old Trafford and Manchester United legacy, though, of you don't get out when you go there. You've just got to deal with it, is how it is. Craig, Daryl Clark came out after the game and sort of battered the players for their performance, to which, as mentioned earlier, you look at that Man United side, and it's got the potential to finish in top half of the Premier League just with the starting 11 which they played yesterday. But the manner of the defeat, and as Andy said there, you're looking at 3, 4, 5 goals. We've absolutely gifted to them, and I think for me, they didn't have to work hard to score that many goals. Not like they played amazing or fantastically. They just capitalised on our mistakes.
Yeah, their front three were a real issue. As soon as the starting lineup, I did a bet where they'd all score a goal. I won Connell the yellow card away from winning quite a bit of money, so I was a bit annoyed. But look, the first 5 goals, Roberts, he just got walked past. He didn't even make an attempt to tackle him. You know, I love Roberts, his history with the club, but he was static. He was stood there. It was like he might as well have had one of them training mannequins stood there. Do you know what I mean? He just walked past him. Slanina, I don't think he touched Anthony. I think he just made it look like he did. So I don't believe that was a penalty. But Slanina should know not to put his head in that position, because when you come up against big teams like this, they're always going to get the decisions. It doesn't matter. O'Keefe, he lost his head. He couldn't handle Anthony, and he ended up trying to kick him a few times. I saw when he got fouled by him late on in game. He lost his head. He started shouting at the referee. Be professional. If anything, keep that professional up here, no matter how bad you're losing. End of the day, Anthony's a wind-up merchant. Everybody knows that if anybody watches even an inkling at Premier League, and he wound him up, and he really got to him. And I think he was one of the worst performances I have ever seen from O'Keefe ever. It were in his head from minute one. You know, Garnacho, one of the fastest players in Premier League, and you give him 40-yard head start. Come on, you know. 5 goals we gifted them. The only goals they really deserved by playing good football were 6 and 7 from Christian Eriksen. They're the only goals that they actually had to work at, because the rest were just given to them. I mean, Craig passed ball to Garnacho for 5th on edge area, and then he passed it to Rashford. I mean, I can take losing. I can take losing a game of football if the other team has outplayed you, you know, by just brilliant football. But that is not what happened. We were embarrassing. Our defensive shape throughout that whole game got worse and worse as the game went on. Our line just kept getting higher and higher and higher. And I've just already said that Garnacho is one of the fastest players in Premier League. So Rashford as well. I mean, come on. You've got to sit deep against these teams. I know it's boring football and, you know, everybody gets annoyed with it, but you've got to play up counter against these sorts of teams. And we tried pressing them. These are world-class players that have played in World Cups, European Cups, Champions Leagues. You know, you're not going to do that against them. You're not. I mean, look, the manner of the defeat were wrong. I think Clark, after the game, were correct. It needs to. It were a lambasting, and they needed it because it were a poor performance. It was a big stage. Every single player had a chance to put their name in lights, and they didn't. Not I think Mayel and Connell, probably two players that I could pick out that played semi decent, but even by their standards, it was poor. Um, it, I mean, it was just a horrific game, and all I can think now is what's morale gonna be like for rest it for next game. What's that dressing room gonna be like? We've lost Dean Whitehead now. He was apparently our out of possession coach. That speaks a lot
I'm
because
not
I'd have
surprised
sacked
he's
him
gone
after
then.
last night. I'd have sacked him after last night. Out of possession, we were horrific. So I'm kind of glad he's gone. Let's get somebody in with some defensive nous about him. Just a horrific game to watch, you know. And I'm not one of these that's going to switch it off after we're 3-0 down. I watched the whole game and it just got worse and worse and worse. They had they had 13 shots on target. They had 20 shots inside our area. We were playing 5 at the back. How can the fit players to get in to have 20 shots? We're meant to stay on that line and not move. And it was just horrific. It was really bad. Worst performance I've ever seen us play.
And I've seen 10 goals against us in 4 days.
There's a lot of work.
Stats.
There's a hell of a lot of work to do on that training ground because defensively we're not there. Nowhere near.
Am I
Not
right,
good
Al?
enough.
Am I right, Al? You're going to Burton on Saturday.
Yes.
Don't.
Look, I just
You're a
don't.
Jonah.
That's 10 might be a bit higher.
I can't go 7 days and not see a victory
You're
or
a
score a
Jonah
goal.
Smith.
That is a bad week, isn't it? That is a bad week.
I feel like we've had longer and worse weeks than that, so we'll try and outdo it. We'll try and outdo it. Al, how much of blame, obviously, as Craig mentioned, how much of blame does Darrell Clark need to take in terms of setup from that game? Because up until that first goal, there was some sort of structure in terms of being deep and making it hard for Man United to break us down. Hence, we sort of were on top of that first 10, 15 minutes. Then once that goal went in, it almost seemed like game plan went to pot and we just all over the place. And when you start playing like world-class players, you're going to get found out.
I think they lost their heads, didn't they, after that goal? They were okay going forward and press were good. But once the Manchester United started playing ball around and opening and creating space, with no answer to that. No matter what coach you've got, you're not going to change that unless you put 11 men behind ball, 10 men behind ball at keeper. And we didn't do that, did we? And the space, I don't think Manchester United created the space. We allowed them to get that space. And that was what I saw from the stands, that we didn't track right, we didn't cover right, and balls what we're trying to get up to Jallo, never going to get long balls up to Jallo, and Waters didn't make a difference up there, did he? So yeah, probably team selection by Gaffer, you could say. Vimal, young Vimal, bless him, he tried his hardest, but he was after his depth, wasn't he?
I thought he played well.
To be expected, though, with players his way.
He didn't chase back, did he? His shoulders went down. There were times when he lost ball and didn't chase back, and he get it up. But you know, the young lads, they're learning the trade, and what a place to go and try and learn your trade. At Old Trafford, Theatre of Dreams. Although it's not Theatre of Dreams for me.
It's not for them neither, mate. So don't worry about it.
The thing that concerns me, Josh, and it weren't just last night, because for the first goal, Rashford were wide on the right on his own, but just on his own, and came into Roberts, and Matt Roberts, I've said already, were poor. But it's not the first time. I've seen a number of games at Oakwell where if a team plays it out wide, there's nobody marking the wide man. They then move to the wide man. I don't know if it's where we set up defensively. I don't know if a back four would be better, or if the wing backs pick up more rather than, so that they are a back five rather than a back three, because it's happening too much that players out wide. If I were playing against us, I'd want to play with wide players, because just get ball to them. It's not going to be hard getting ball to them, because they get ball to them and then they can run at people. What you should have as somebody going there. And so as soon as the ball's pinged out to a wide man, you hit them and take ball or all of it, take them all out. But we don't. We let them get the ball and then have a run at us. So it's the way we set up defensively for me.
We end up too narrow, Andy. We end up too narrow.
Yeah, in a word, yeah. That'll.
I think that definitely came to like more in second half when Conor McCarthy came on into that position, because that first goal, miles off it, he stepped up far too high, and Garnacho was in 45 yard of space because he's been played onside by the rest of the defensive line. I thought McCarthy I thought it was harsh in a way to bring him into that game. Very cold.
I thought that.
Very
as soon
cold.
As I saw him.
Yeah, very cold off the back of not really playing much this season, and then to like go mark Garnacho and Rashford if you don't mind. I thought
just getting somebody arrested for Saturday.
I think
that's all.
What I'd say about the game in general is you saw the levels in fitness. Their team could run all game. Our team, by 60 minutes, were absolutely tapped. Every single player was tapped on that pitch. I mean, players stopped running. The only Connell I saw that were running.
I agree, but I don't think that's not an excuse as a professional athlete.
No, I'm not.
I'm
not saying it's actually fitness. I'm on about mindset.
I'm going to build onto your point. I'm going to build onto your point here, Craig. Of when you look at Bielsa, for example, what he did with that Leeds team and made it into what it was of Premier League teams couldn't handle it when they stepped up to Champions League, from Championship, to Premier League. The Prem couldn't handle it. You look at that first game where Liverpool leads, it was a goal fest because Liverpool couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, but I mean, they look tapped out by the 60th minute. I think they just get up. But the 6,500 fans that travelled, MVP of the whole match, you could hear them singing throughout.
Yeah.
You could hear them over Man U fans. Man U fans, you should be ashamed of yourself. Being outsung by 6,000 Barnsley lads and lasses and women and children, and no matter what you describe yourself as these days.
It was amazing, Craig, to be part of that. Yeah. It was amazing to be part of that. And our fans did the club proud. The players didn't do the club proud.
And they deserve so much better than they got.
And end of the day, as Gaffer says, they didn't deserve the applause at the end of the game. And a lot of, they got a standing ovation. No disrespect. I mean, funny thing last night were our fans, let's celebrate a goal. And it was, oh, yeah, we were celebrating an on goal. But they just wanted to be there and have fun and be excited. And unfortunately, we weren't excited, were we?
But we have to respond. We have to respond against Burton now, because I can see this going terribly wrong if we don't get a resounding win against Burton.
I just don't,
because my only issue at the minute is I'm starting to get that niggling back in my mind, thinking, is this job too big for Clark? Because it's fine to tamper and to keep switching formations when you're a team like Cheltenham, where you're trying to grab points, but when you're a team that should be going in dominating games and you're not, and you still, I don't know. It needs to start pulling some trees up and start getting some results, because it's not looking good so far. I think we're doing okay in the league. I think the football is better. Defensively, it's not looking good.
Okay. I agree with that. 5 days ago we were brilliant. 5 days ago we were brilliant. People
I never said that.
Well, a lot of people have. We were predicting big wins big win at
lost to Mansfield, draw to Northampton. No.
Yeah, but then we gradually started. We won away, didn't deserve to win away, I don't think, but we won away at Lincoln. You didn't always get what you deserve. We won a couple of good games at Crawley and then at home to Bristol Rovers, and everybody was saying, "Oh, we turned the corner, we're doing well. We could win. We're going up. We could go up." And people were predicting. Stephen is predicting 4-0s, 4-1s, 5-0s, all that, and it's come crashing down. I don't know if it's because we think that we thought we were better than we are, but we're fickle. We were up, and best thing since sliced bread at one time. I'm not saying you, Craig, because you never said that, but others were saying it, and yet 5 days later, it's all doom and gloom. And we've got to take. I said on the last thing, what you got to do, you got to take the ups and downs of football. It's success and failure is transient, and it is, and it on Saturday it's got to be better. I hope him coming out and saying what he said has a galvanising effect on them. I hope it don't knock them down even further.
That's what Kate said it could do, Andy. Dressing room could be flat.
The only thing for me is just to say to them, mark your men, mark them, don't leave them on their own.
But this is where you need Roberts and Oran to step up. It's not just a Clark issue. It's a whole thing of calming heads,
that's what we need.
Trying to get the team to galvanise, say, right, put it to back of your mind, training Monday, let's crack on. Not think about it, let's get past it. Gaffer's had a go at you, right, get it out of your system, let's go. And that's what you need now. You need leaders. And let's just hope we've got enough.
In terms of obviously Clark coming out and saying that, because we've sort of gone from two opposite spectrums, I think, between Collins and Clark, of the way they both handle the media and speak to media. Collins, I thought last season protected the players a lot in the media by even we all knew we weren't playing well, but every single week he'd come out and there's positives to pick from that. This were good, this were good. We did this well, we did that well. And I think he protected the players a lot. Whereas I think Clark this season, almost to a degree, has been a bit too honest and a bit too forthcoming with the things he said in the press. I think in hopes to get a reaction to do that. But like you mentioned there, Craig, it's on a knife edge of it goes one way or it goes other. It's either going to kick them further down or it's going to be the fire to kick them back up to where they need to be. And I just hope in terms of him doing that is that he understands the dressing room that he's created in the time that he's been here, that it does have the positive effect rather than it kicking him even further down.
I think it's currently fine so long as you don't start mentioning names. If you start singling out people, that's when it goes too far. So long as he's keeping it general, I like the positivity. I've got to say it's refreshing because too many times we hear managers come out and just spiel crap that you don't want to hear. You want to hear honesty. You want to hear, look, it was my problem. I were wrong, like he did against Stevenage. Come up and own it. And the players need to come out and own it as well. But as long as you're not just picking on certain players and this and that, I think you're fine. Just don't cross that line.
It's not changed from Lincoln away, is it? He said 3 out of 10 when we won away at Lincoln, and the fans 10 out of 10. So he's not changed. He's not changed. He's honest. He's open. He's frank, and I like him. I like him being that way. But as I say, I'm not a player in the dressing room. What would a player in the dressing room be thinking?
Well, they're grown up, Sal. The professional footballers, they're not babbies. They're not, they're not under nines.
They're in wrong game if they don't want to get criticised.
But I'll be honest. I'll be honest though. If there's one group of people that has an ego and also has the power to get someone sacked who they don't like, it's a group of 5 or 6 players.
They won't play if they started that, and we had a few last year. We started doing that. Just don't play them. Last year we played them. Last year he protected. You said the protected players. I thought he talked crap and banalities all the time. I'm with Alan and Craig. I like the honesty, and I think it's refreshing. But I also think it's good, because like we are, it's good to be honest, but you've also got to say, this is what I'm going to do about it, and this is what we're going to do about it. Not, we were crap. We're still here. We can say we crap, but we don't have to say what we're going to do about it. He's in a position where he's got to do something about it. So that's going to be interesting. There should be a reaction. There should be a positive reaction. If they mark up, if they pass the ball, against Stevenage, we didn't pass it. We just hugged it. We're supposed to have a really good midfield, and I do believe we've got a really good midfield. Whoever's playing, will it play through them? Just hit it long. I don't know if they're told to hit it long or if they just got sucked into Stevenage. But you've got to play to your strengths, not to other people's strengths. Play to your own strengths.
I was just going to say one last thing. I hope we do replace Dean as well. I don't want.
Don't sound like we are though, does it?
I know it's saying, Horan's going to take up more responsibility. I don't want that. I want him to focus solely on his coaching and being a bit part player in there. I know Josh doesn't agree, but I feel that if he's gone, you need to get somebody in. We need a defensive minded coach. We need somebody else to come in and help pick up some of the slack.
Can't see it happening, Craig. Well, he said that Connor's going to step up.
agree
That's it,
that we
hasn't he?
need that because to me now that just signifies Connor is not playing very much at all anymore. If he's picking up more responsibility, because that's just more time you have to dedicate to coaching, rather than playing. One thing I would like to pick up on is obviously we've sort of touched on it in parts, Craig, of sort of the way in which Clark has set up and sort of how reactionary he is to things which happen, and we've seen it work, and we've seen it not work. And you sort of look yesterday of it started all right, then we got that goal, and it seemed structure and sort of a pragmatic way of playing went straight out the window. And to me, that comes all down to the coach being like, I want you to do this and do it this way. We look at the weekend against Stevenage, change the shape, change the way we play, didn't come off at all. And is he a little bit too quick to start snapping into these sort of decisions of way we play?
Yeah, I did see it in yesterday's game in aspects. I saw, especially on the left hand side, I saw Cotter just sticking to Garnacho in defensive responsibilities, and he wasn't allowed to move from that position, so he couldn't close anybody down, which were giving them more of the ball. I think as Shape's been affected by changes, he's wanting Connell to get up pitch more. I think you can see that. He's wanting he's wanting Phillips to be like a shadow striker, playing up as far as possible. He either plays with four at the back in a diamond type formation, or he plays with like a 4-3-3 with two wide men. They seem to be the two formations, and obviously the five at the back. But you can't keep switching between these. You need to have a main tactic that you use. But it does seem to be really quick to want to change things and micromanage every aspect of the game. I think you need to sometimes allow intelligence of your players and your captain to do a bit of that work. Trust Connell to see things because he's on the pitch. Trust Cotter to know he needs to get back a bit faster. I'll just tell him. Don't tell him just to stick by somebody, because then he's just. I mean, he's out of the game, isn't he? If he can only mark one player. So yeah, it's that thing again. It's like Collins were the complete opposite, but it's either one extreme or other. What we actually need is something in the middle. We need something that's a bit more reactionary than Collins was, but a little bit less than Clark is currently. It's an hard ball to juggle. So.
From playing last season that we're no plan B, we've got plan B, C, D, E now.
Down to Z at the minute.
Yeah, we've got everything going, haven't we? We've gone playing last year that we didn't have a plan B. Now we've got plan B, C, D, E, F, whatever G.
I'm just hoping by next couple of months he's going to start having a more settled squad with settled tactics, with players knowing what he wants, and maybe by playing under him for an extra couple of months, they'll know what to do without him having to tell them every minute a game. So you've got to live in hope that that's going to become more prevalent.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for me is I don't actually know what our primary style is at the minute, other than a high press, because we'll set up in various different formations, doing various different things at different points, and I don't know what that style looks like other than press up high and try and win ball. I don't know what the shape necessarily is.
We do tend to be more direct.
Tactic is.
We tend to be direct, really. Over the past few games, we seem to be just hitting long ball.
Got to stop it. Stop that.
We're complete. Our strongest.
It comes straight back at us.
Yeah, our strongest position is midfield, and we're completely negating that by just going long.
Involved and play through the lines, and we're not playing through lines.
Even if we're not playing Cosgrove, we still win long. And it's like Waters, I've never seen him win a header yet. And Jallo up there, it's useless.
Yeah.
You've got to try and work the ball through the lines, just like Al says. And you can only learn doing that by repetitiveness on the training pitch, learning different shapes and different ways of passing it about, different routines and such. So it's all going to come with time. But we've got to stop with this direct ball, especially without Cosgrove.
We've got Keeler done back for Saturday.
Yeah, that's it. That's going to turn that 7-0 loss to a 1 yesterday if we had Keeler done.
Yeah.
If we had Keeler done and Agati got booked, we'd have been flying. Just before we do finish on the speak of Man United, we have 3 programs from yesterday's game to give away, which I may or may not have acquired through some certain means. But yeah, there's 3 programs from last night's game to give away. If you're
To
interested,
give away, Al, not for you. To give away. To
give
Oi,
away.
how many of our subscribers have been and seen us lose 7-0 twice?
You should have bought one, Al. Spent
Should have bought one
£42
while
for
you
your
were there.
ticket. Should have bought one.
About more sure there. So if you would like one, comment down below, comment program, make sure you like and subscribe, and you will be in it with a chance to win one.
I'll make it easy, Josh. I don't want one.
That's all right. You won't have one anyway.
I didn't want one.
So that's fine. You can't have it. Right. Moving on
Can
to.
I just say this, Josh? At the
Dunno.
start of this, two things. Two things. When the shirts came out, I changed it. I always get a Barnsley shirt, and I've read all over on back. And like Alan, I usually have the year. So this year to be 25, for 24,
Right.
25 season. That's what I normally do. That's what I've done for the last number of seasons. You don't see it on show because it's on my back, obviously. So I don't wear it back to front.
Well, I'm not sure, because you do look like you are floating.
Well, there you go. What I have to say is this year I followed what my grandkids do, which is put their ages on.
Honestly, that looks fantastic.
Can't see it.
It's gone. I know it's going.
Andy,
Just for the viewers out there, it says 7-0.
why it was 7-0 last night. It was our ages.
I know.
I
That's
get
what's.
it, Andy. I get
And
it.
I also went to Costco this lunchtime for some stuff, and instead of having my usual cherry cola of whatever sort, I went different, and I had no intention to do it. I got some 7-Up, and I had no other drinks. Other drinks are available, and it were done without any forethought whatsoever. So
It was manifesting it all this time.
It's
you to blame.
It's not. It's me and Dean Whitehead. It's not leaving me, Craig. Even inadvertently, it must be subliminal, Craig. I was drawn to 7-Up for once.
Well, it's nice to see. Right,
Anyway.
We'll be moving on to our Burton preview. So, Burton away, a tough trip away to somewhat of a draw specialist of a side so far this season. So, looking at their stats, manager Mark Robinson from Chelsea's development side is where he's come from. Billy Bowden, top scorer with 3, sat 20th in the league, and as I've alluded to there, draw specialists of 4 draws and 1 loss so far in the league this season. Key player, Billy Bowden, formation 3-4-2-1. And the key stat is, as I mentioned, 4 draws in 5 games, only 2 of which have finished 0-0, sorry. So 2 of those finish, 1 finishing 2-2 and 1 finishing 3-3. So still managed to score even though they're drawing. West Stand, Andy. So you've got the greatest stand in
Just
the
for
whole entire EFL there.
There you are yesterday having your prawn sandwiches with rest of Man United
brigade.
fans. Yeah, and this time back to your roots. So
well,
put West Stand
maybe,
up just for you.
Maybe I'm more of a hospitality person now in a padded seat after yesterday. I might start at padded seat brigade.
You didn't think about me asking me and inviting there with my bone osteoarthritis, did you?
Well, I'll be honest, Al.
They don't care, Al. They don't care about you, Al.
I didn't get to sit down because I didn't have a seat. I was stood up.
Can I say, in that stand at Old Trafford, you're going up and it's like that. The steps going up to the seats. God almighty, I needed an extra step.
Need him in a race. Home end, they're really small. Look after you in home end. Should have been in there instead. Andy, how would you feel about this one?
Well, it's a very strange one, isn't it? Because they're just outside the relegation places. They've not won all season. I think geared up to winning the first game of the season. Now we're going to gift it to them. Last season we beat them both games, home and away. So that's a positive. That's a positive thing, I suppose. Well, it is a positive thing. What they're going to be like, I don't know how many changes they've made. They seem to have made a few changes, as we all have. And I'll just get a quick plug in. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm doing an away end with Edward Walker. So I'm hoping I'm going to find out a lot of information from him about what players are doing well and what have you. I noticed that Jasper Moon had left him and gone to Harrogate.
Mm-hmm.
But but they've got Jason Straha, ex-young player. He's playing for them, and of course, as a substitute goalkeeper, they signed Harry Eisted, so he's not been playing. So that's I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. If there's somebody better than Harry Eisted, then he must be some goalkeeper. But yeah, they've not. They don't lose a lot though, do they? They've not lost a lot. They draw a lot 0-0. So it all depends. I think it depends on us. If I'm absolutely truthful, I think it depends on us. If we grit our teeth, and I'm not saying all the players are from Yorkshire, but sort some Yorkshire grit, and decide we're going to play football, we're going to get it down, we're going to pass. When we haven't got ball, we're going to mark them up, and we're not going to be pappy. We're going to get them on them. Then I think we could and should win with the quality that we've got. It's whether we show it or not, whether we're down and battered after the last two games. Who knows? 5 days ago, we'd have all been predicting 3 and 4-0 to Barnsley. Now, I suspect there'll be a lot of predictors saying we're going to lose or draw. So it's going to be interesting to see who predicts what. For me, it's going to be a very strange game. And
certainly,
the biggest worry is obviously Smithy's going, Jonah Smith's going. So that's a bit of a worry.
We doomed,
I don't know how to call it.
We're doomed.
We doomed.
I do remember when Brayford also saved front line against us.
It did
at Burton, which not a good place for us. Al, obviously you're going to go down and jinx it anyway, so we might as well not bother turning up on Saturday, to be honest, and just concede the 3-0 for not turning up. How do you feel about this one? Because when you look at the game yesterday, there's sort of the thought and feeling around it of, yes, we weren't great, but there were probably a lot of tiresome running around there because chasing shadows for 90 minutes, more or less. Adding the fact that the defeat being 7-0, players called out in the media after. There's potentially for this to go very south very quick.
It is, but if you're in that team and you're a professional footballer, you want to go out there with pride. And I think pride will pull us through on Saturday. And I think it's going to be a different game. And we're in 10th, although we lost, and they're in 20th. So they've not won at home, have they? Yeah, I don't think they've won one. So hopefully we can. Famous last words there, isn't it? I'm hoping that we don't sour the week, and on Saturday we have a smile on his faces. So yes. I'm looking forward to seeing what formation, what team he selects. I'm hoping Barry Cotter's fit. We don't know if he went off. He were limping as he went off. So that'll be a big miss if we're losing Barry, because Barry's been tremendous in league this season with his work rate and his crosses, what he's been putting in. So I don't know. And I think Darryl Clark will be expecting a response.
100%. Craig, obviously, Burton not got off to a great start this season, but whilst being sat 20th, no wins, 4 draws and only 1 loss, so a difficult side to break down, and also 5 goals will in the league and 5 conceded, given the draws. Not really. No, sorry, they conceded more, sorry, because lost 1. Not really too much to tell from that, because they've played some all right sides well. I think got a 2-2 draw with Rotherham recently as well. So it's not like they've played poor sides and struggled. They've played some all right teams in there.
Well, to be fair, they've played 3 teams that we've played.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
So they played Northampton, who they drew against 0-0. Played against Stevenage, the draw against 0-0, and they played against Mansfield Town, which were 3-3. So they've drawn all 3 games. They're the only team in League One this season not to win a game. So guaranteed they'll win against us. From last season, they lost the key player in Joe Powell. Lost him to Rotherham, I think. And they got Billy Bowden in and such. They're a difficult team to play, especially at Pirelli Stadium. They've got some decent fans that are pretty noisy down there, and we know what our form's like playing at Pirelli, especially with referees let's just say, with that Brayford epic save a few seasons ago. So this it looks like a gimme because they're all the way down. I mean, they're just above relegation zone. We're just out at playoffs. It looks like it should be a gimme, but it's by no means they're going to be a tough team to face. But I think this is it's got to be the redemption arc or the start of the redemption arc for lads, and it's all about whether we want to win or not. I don't think they're going to have much say in either way. You know, if we go down and we're not playing as well as we should or we know we can, then they'll win or get a draw. Or but if we go down there and play to his potential and play like we know we can, then we should be winning. You know, it's all about our attitude in this game. So yeah, it's but knowing I look, it'll be another draw and it'll not help either team either way.
No,
I'm just glad that we're playing early on in the season because last season when we played there, their pitch were appalling.
Ridiculous.
Worst pitch out. We don't. Me and Alan had only seen pitches like
My
that.
back gardens in better,
70s. It were awful. And I'm not particularly blaming the players or the club, but it were just awful. So hopefully, playing them at the start of the season, there'll be a pitch worth playing on. So let's hope that benefits us. They haven't had a game this week, so they're going to be relatively. They've not played away at Manchester United and run about chasing shadows for 90 minutes or 90 odd minutes. They've had a chance to work on things. I bet they watched the game. I bet they were chuckling.
Oh, but
all the
space.
Yeah, so hopefully they haven't won a game all season. Hopefully they'll be lulled into a false sense of security and lose another.
We'll see. All I'm seeing there from the fact they've not won is the dual win. And if
records are there to be broken, Josh.
Exactly. And if there's one side who's generous for them kind of things.
No way. No
records
way.
are there. They've got a record because they haven't won.
No way.
No, we'll see. Right, before we get our predictions in, we've got the little ones on with theirs.
We face Burton at the weekend. George, what do you think the score's going to be? I think it'll be 1-0 Burton. I think it's 2-0 Barnsley. If you think you're better than predicting, then let's get it in the comments down below. You Reds!
Right, so that is their predictions. Seeing as you're going down there, I'll let you go first. What do you reckon Saturday's going to be?
I've got to go positive. It could be a goal fest. I'm going for 4-1 Barnsley. We're going to sort out 10 against us. We're going to go for 4. I'm certain we can get a.
You just go 7-0.
I could have gone 7-0, but we won't get 7-0 now. But Burton Albion, the Brewers won't let us get 7.
4-1. Interesting. Andy?
No. I'm going 2-1. I'm going 2-1. Hey, Andy, what's yours?
Craig on 2-1.
Well.
Now
you
leave him last. Try and make him change his mind.
Thank you, blimey. Easy, Craig, easy. Are you having a lie down after this, Craig?
I'm sick of being last to be picked every week, and I have to negotiate around what you two said.
Hold on, Craig.
I've got OCD and can't be the same.
I've got Andy's crystal ball. Andy's crystal ball here. Come on.
There's an easy way to stop you being last predicting. We'll get Tracy on instead. I'm only kidding, Craigie. I'm only kidding.
I love you, Craig.
I was going to say, truthfully, I was going to follow Al and say 4-1 to Barnsley. But since Smithy's going, it's going to have to be 2-1 to Barnsley.
2-1. 2-2-1s. Al, you've gone 4-1. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Burton win. I'm going to go Burton win 2-1. The due one. And 8 going up against teams that are due 1.
That's you not going at Man United hospitality again on your bike.
What do you mean? I'll be in hospitality at FC 20 game next Wednesday.
He'll not be in Legend Suite, Al. They'll not invite him into Legend Suite, Al. Not that they invite us into Legend Suite,
Wait, we can't get in there with your Man United lanyard, can you?
I'll bring me half and half scarf. Not let me half and half scarf in Legends Suite.
They'll not let you in there now, Andy, anyway, because you've got 7-0 on your back and it's just too bad memories.
That's true. Even though none of us saw it and you just disappeared.
I'll tell you what, and I'm gonna blow it to you. 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm doing Gabe Sutton's show. He's invited me on.
Not again.
Oh,
Right,
Not
honestly,
again.
honestly, I were quite. I agreed to it because I was quite chipper.
He needs to broaden his horizons, that guy.
Because we've not lost 3-0 and 7-0. So I'm thinking, yes, I'm gonna give him some. Oh no.
It goes round Barnsley now, Andy saying, "Do you know I am?"
5 days. So it's a long time in football as well as politics.
It is. It
A
is.
long time.
And wait until it's 7 days by the time we play Burton.
I know. I'm gonna have to change it.
Sunday morning
Change
could
my
be a rough
approach.
could be a rough one. Right, we'll be back Sunday morning with our reaction to the Burton game. As Andy's mentioned, there is an away end coming out of Ed Walker for the Burton preview, and also there's a little bit of a special show coming out. I'm not sure when it's coming out yet because it's going to take me some time to edit it because I've actually got to put some clips together and make it tell a bit of a story. So yes, that'll be coming out relatively soon though, aiming for tomorrow, as in Thursday, for that to come out and drop as well. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that one, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can turn this corner. As Andy said 5 days ago, we're best team in the league. We're Centurions, we're going to win it. We're flying, and now we're thinking relegation, liquidation, administration.
No, not that bad. Not that
Look,
bad.
some fans think we're not going for a Burton. We are not going for a Burton. We'll be there. I'll see you all on Saturday.
It's waited all show to say that, Josh.
I know, and he's got it in.
I'm
just
sure he
before
just sits there with Kate on an afternoon before the show, just going, right, well, how many puns can I get in? Let's have a look, Kate. Let's have a look.
No, there's no way he's going with these and saying these are Kate's.
Yeah.
He's robbed them all. He's robbed them all. Kate's the brains behind this operation.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
Right, so us four, we're back on your screens Sunday morning with a reaction show to Burton. We'll see you there.